What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the video, and make sure you leave a comment. I got a brother on, man, that spent, I think, 19 years of his life in prison. He's been in the feds. He's been in the state, I believe in Illinois, and he had some crazy things happen while he was in there, and eventually, man, things worked out for him. But you know what? He can tell his story better than I can. The mic's yours, brother. Tell the people who you are, where you're from, and talk a little bit about you.
Well, my name's Tio. They call me Tio from the west side of Chicago. Born and raised, Douglas Park area. I just came home off a long stretch, 19 years and 7 months, both the state, Illinois state, and in the feds. But I just turned 51 in July the 11th. I've spent more than half of my life in and out of those like institutions and situations or whatever like that. So like that really wasn't nothing. But like I was saying, like I just did 19 and 7 in Illinois, and I think I was in Terre Haute, Indiana. I went to Forest City, Arkansas. I was in Tucson, Arizona, and I paroled from Beaumont, Texas, the last part of it. Yeah, but I did 15 in the state of Illinois, Department of Corrections, all over that boy. Like in and out for a while though, so.
Let me ask you this, man. How old were you when you got arrested?
First time?
Yeah, when you ended up getting this 19 years, you're going to the state and you got some time to do in the feds. How old were you when you got arrested on that case?
I was 29 when I got locked up. I got locked up a day before Halloween in the year 2000, and I got out September the 19th of 2019. Yeah.
You spent a lot of time. What'd you go to? I'm sorry, go ahead.
We started off with the state case. I had actually was charged with attempted murder, first degree attempted murder, attempted armed robbery, and aggravated battery with a firearm. The drug deal gone bad. We get there again games, and before you know it, some shit started sparking off, and like the police chased us from the scene of the crime or whatever. They called me, my partner, he got away, and while I was in the county fighting that case for shooting those people, 9 months later, the feds indicted me on conduct that happened a year prior to that. I was in the county jail. We used to be doing these little things where we hijack people's phone lines and stuff like that. And one thing led to another. We stepped the game up. We started conning people from the county jail and shit like that. And the feds, they wanted their money back because that affected the commerce, interstate commerce. So they came back for that money. Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Go ahead.
You were in the county jail, and you said you were hijacking people's phones or phone numbers. What were you guys doing? What was the scam?
Like we'll just dial random numbers all over the country, and not having somebody accept the call. And then the object of the thing was to monopolize that first 10, 15 seconds, scam real bad. It was just a little scam, telling them stuff like we caught 2 people trying to smuggle drugs in the airport, and there was a list of telephone numbers in their possession, and that number was on it. And then sometime the recording, this is what I couldn't get. Sometime the recording would come on telling the people this is a call from an inmate at the Cook County Jail. Woo such. So we started telling them, we doing it inside the facility to prevent outside interference, and then we'll just have them running Western unions, like until they break their car, so they break bank account one or the other. That was the federal case.
So you're on there telling these people this stuff, and they're sending you their money?
Yeah, it's online. Like you can go find it.
No, I mean I believe you. And you told me earlier about the thing with the guy that was a sex offender, Chomo. He gets body slammed. I know he dies, but we'll get into that in a minute. But I'm a little interested in how you can call people from prison, and these people are they scared? So you're like, yo, you got to send this money, or this is what's going to happen?
most, yes, no, not, no, like we was pretending to like implicate them in the crime as a part of the whole overall conspiracy or whatever, and what they can do to prove their innocence is send this amount of money in this name. We got somebody inside the jail gonna do some snitching and setting up out there. Your money will never leave. And then they start, soon they send me the control number, I have somebody that go right immediately, swipe it right off. Like,
how much? Wow! All I can say is, man, that's a hell of a scam. How much money were they sending at a time?
Like with Western Union, what I learned through trial and error is anything over $300, you need an actual ID for. Like, and that's why I got caught up, because I started doing 1,000, 5,000, trying to just rape everything what they had real quick, you know. With this last one, the one that I got actually convicted on. We got her for like a little bit over 10,000.
What you do with all? I mean, you're making all this money. What you do with all the money? Spend it on commissary?
No, not necessarily. I had kids, small kids, when I left. So, and then I still had family out here too, you know. So stuff like that, paying bills and just bidding too, also, you know.
Hey, listen, man. I mean, I understand. It don't mean I don't, whatever, man. It is what it is, right? But that's a hell of a hustle where you can scare people, man, to send you $10,000. I'd been like, man, do what you got to do, man.
That was just one person, really. You know what I mean? We had them, like, first, it's crazy, man. Like, if you take the time and you go look at it online, you can find it, and I'm sure you can get the case thing, too. You know what I mean? Through Freedom of Information or whatever. It's on, I threw all that shit away. I didn't want to, like, remember nothing. Like, I didn't bring nothing home but pictures. That's it.
Man, I brought my legal books with me and my pictures. I was in there for 18 years, man, and everything else, I could care less, man. Let's talk a little bit about that Cook County Jail back then. Pretty wild place, right?
Yeah, like, the first time I went to the county jail, Division 6 was maximum security. They only had, like, 6 divisions, and that was, like, Beirut. Like, if you ain't know, like, you going in that place talking about you this, that, and the other, and you ain't know what you supposed to know, damn who you knew, like you probably won't even make it up out there for it. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean,
it's clicked off like everything. The Cook County Jail clicked off like everything. You got the people, you got the folks, and then you got the neutrons or whatever, the people that's not affiliated, and most times, like, the people that get the bottom deck or the top deck, like, you understand what I'm saying? They had all those cells and then sleeping outside because it was overcrowded as hell. Like, all kind of, like, people that lost their lives because they didn't get no Kool-Aid.
Lost their lives because they didn't get no Kool-Aid. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, like, it's wild because them people, the tier might fit 40 people. They might have 100 and some people on one tier, and send all of the trays, and then with one picture of the tray, and everybody had their cups lined up or whatever. You know what I mean? And they prospective mobs would fill them up for them or whatever. But sometimes some people didn't get them up. Sometimes they didn't get no tray, and that was probable cause for bloodshed. It was this one dude. I don't know if they had it in y'all state, but they got these thick ass bars of soap that the state give you. He used to sit in front of the TV on the top deck and watch baseball all day. I remember the first ride I was in the county jail when I was a shorty, when I first went in there. He was throwing those damn bars of soap so hard. It was, like, if it missed somebody and hit the wall, it'd turn to washing powder immediately. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was fucking people up. I seen butchering. Like, yeah, man, that shit was crazy. But you become that shit, you know what I mean, after a while, and that shit don't even bother you, like, it's like survival of the fittest or whatever, you know?
He's throwing them things like they're baseballs, huh?
Yeah, like, and I used to be tripping on them, like, man, why the hell this nigga watch this shit all day? And that's exactly why. I mean, he, behind the TV, that's where he had all those bars of soap. He was fucking people up. He didn't even come downstairs. Like, the railings on the tip of the stairs, they got these little metal things, the door locks. I seen motherfuckers making butcher knives out of the little plate that the lock in the door go into, unscrew that thing. Like, I saw some cold ass weapons. And this is my first time in the county jail, like, you know what I mean? And I'm looking like, damn, so it's it now, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, like time went on. I think they got like 14 or 15 different divisions. Those different little sections, little buildings or whatever. Like, and when I first started off, like I say, the highest they went to was Division 6. They got like 14 or 15, and they got a boot camp now. So they've been warehousing people for years, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying. You know, you're supposed to have 40, 50 people in here, and you got 125. What do you think's going to happen, right?
Right. They know, and then they giving you the weapons. They mop buckets, brooms, and like they giving you the stuff to make the weapons with, like so you can kill each other. They don't care. We just job security. That's it. You know what I mean?
You walk in there. You walk in there at 29. You're facing a significant amount of time. I know you're from Chicago. Who'd you run with?
With the vice lord.
What was it like for the vice lords in that Chicago, in that Illinois prison, man? You guys have a lot of power?
Yeah, most times, like, not that new wave vice lord shit like that, what they got now. Like, that's not what they got going on now. How it's all clicked up. That's not what I took my original oath to. Like, I was on the back end of the community organizing and shit like that. My parents was like first generation vice lords. Like, they had us when they was fairly young or whatever. So I seen the good in it. Like, what it is now, like, it's nothing like, you know what I mean? I can't even, I stopped identifying with certain people when I was locked up. Like, I wouldn't even show them no love or none of that shit. Not cause I'm not, motherfucker, cause I know you not. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, and so, like, majority of the smoke you get, be with your own anyway. Like, so you fighting to the death out here with Uzis and AKs and shit, and then you get in there and you ain't got that shit, and then you seeing these same people that you had beef with, but y'all supposed to be together. Like, you understand what I'm saying? How the fuck that's gonna work?
I know exactly what you're saying. Usually it's always your own people, right?
Absolutely. Every time I've been shot in every part of my body except my head and my arm. It's been by another vice lord, with the exception of one time, with the exception of one time, any type of smoke I've ever had, that's what it's always been. I guess we were bred that way, but we will get together in jail. At first, you're supposed to leave all that shit that's on the street. And then once you get in jail, we just vice lords, as not going on like the different branches of vice lords. We just vice lords, like, you know, and so, like, yeah, it was a powerful move. It was a powerful move. That's how I actually got introduced to Islam through vice lord lessons, like, you know. So yeah, it did some good. It did some good. It did a whole lot of good in my life because it taught me valuable lessons that I carry with me to this day. Like, you know what I mean? You can, cause y'all got the same blood, that don't make y'all family. Because this your 20, 30 year nigga, that don't mean that he won't get down on you. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So yeah, you gotta pick your friends wisely, so to speak.
Let me ask you this. I know you're in prison, you're doing time in Illinois. You end up getting involved in something, man. Tell the people about what happens with the dude that was a chomo. What happened?
I didn't, like, we had been on, got transferred from one facility to another, because when I got convicted, I had got sentenced to 28 years state time, and then I had a 57-month federal sentence as well. So in Illinois, you do halves depending on the crime. So I'm looking at 14 ahead of me, and then the other 5 from the state, from the feds as well. So, like, I was wilding at first initially, you know what I mean? But then I started being cool, because me and my brother was in the same spot, my first spot. But then when he went home, I ended up transferring and went to a lesser security place after like a year and a half or something like that. Clear behavior. We was on lockdown, and then in this particular joint, Big Muddy River, they got one part of it in the back is for sexually dangerous criminals that's been designated there by the court, to where after they sentence over, they still got to take therapy and go to court once a year to see if the judge is going to let them out. A sex offender part. Like, and we had been on lockdown for like 2 or 3 weeks for some shit I don't even remember. But like I remember, like before we went on lockdown, one of the partners from around my crib, he was down there. He was younger. He was wild enough. So I put him to the side and I tell him, I said, man, listen, man, Joe, you end up getting into one of these clowns. You hit him, take him in the cell or whoop him. You knock him out. He fall. He hit his head and die. Your whole motherfucking career over on some bullshit. 1 week to the day of me telling him that after we get off the lockdown or whatever, I kept my ass outside the cell, and that very thing that I warned him about happened to me. Because, like I said, we was on lockdown for like 3 weeks, and so they started running commissary, and it separated from the top deck and the top tier and the bottom tier. I was on the top tier, but they opened our door too, so we ran downstairs and ran in the front of the line to get our little commissary ticket stamped so we can go to the commissary. And we ran in front of these group of people. I didn't even really notice them too much because there was a lot of people out there. But this one particular dude, he was a white supremacist and he was a career pedophile. He said something slick to the effect of, look at them running like the commissary gonna close. I didn't even look around. I just said over my shoulder, like, long as don't nobody touch me. And we kept it moving. So we go outside. Now he had been talking this white supremacist shit to these clowns on this tier. So now he got to live up to this shit now. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So we get outside, I'm rapping with two of my partners in one line, because it's 2 lines, and he in another line. He like 5 people ahead of me in this line. And then my little partner, he looked at me, he like, man, what's up with dude? So I look, I see the dude, he staring at me and shit. And then buddy say, that's all right. We gonna talk later. I said, man, ain't no later, man. You better go on the fuck on about your business. Like, you know what I mean? And then my little partner he asked me, man, you want me to straighten him out? I'm like, nah, man, he a goof. So when we started walking, I hear the cops say, y'all better tighten up that line before I send y'all back. But let me back up a little bit. While he's standing there staring at me, I see him with a pencil in his hand. And then he looked like he tried to conceal it, so I look at his hand. Then I look him in his eyes and try to gauge where he willing to take this shit. That's when he said, man, that's all right, we'll talk. I said, man, ain't no later, man. You better get the fuck on somewhere. So when we walking, and then the cops say, close the gap in the line, that gave us enough time when we made the turn. So when I looked back up again, he was standing next to me. Now, the last thing in my head, he had this pistol. Yeah. He was trying to conceal. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So I try to steal him first. But he did a slick ass shoulder roll, like I brushed my punch right up off on him.
He was looking like Mayweather out there?
Whoop. Yeah, that's right. Listen, man, that was the smoothest shoulder roll I seen. Like, but coming from this dude, and then, like, I just grabbed his ass. You know what I mean? At one time, and it was like one motion. I picked his ass up. And when I slammed his ass on the ground, like his body hit evenly, like the back of his head hit the same time his ass and the back of his feet did. You know what I mean? And it's like 50 people in the line. So that's 50 witnesses. Like, you understand what I'm saying? And the whole line said at one time, ooh. Because I heard it when his back of his head hit the ground. And I looked at him, I saw blood coming out his tear duct. And out his ear and shit, I'm like, oh, that's over. Like, I started walking off, and then you see all these pussy ass dudes, like, yeah, him. And one cop slide on me, and I look at dude again, and then he pull out his walkie-talkie, like, get back. I said, man, they ain't gonna hit him. I looked at him. And then the next thing I know, a major head came. They pointed me out. He handcuffed me, and he said, what happened? I said, man, he tried to stab me with a pencil. And the major said right then, he said, don't say nothing else. You understand what I'm saying? Had I not said that right then, that he came at me with the pencil, they actually ended up charging me with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Like, I actually sat back and plotted and stalked him and then killed him because I was feeling hopeless. I started laughing when I was reading those newspaper articles, they saying all this dumb shit. I'm like, these people fucking crazy. Like, you know what I mean?
Were you worried? Were you worried? Like, damn, man, these people charged me with first-degree murder. I might never get out of prison.
Nah, man, like, and that's the crazy part about it, right? Because I didn't know anything about his history except that he was a white supremacist, a halfway slick little pussy motherfucker. And that's the thing, like, I don't know, bro. Like, a calm came over me because they transferred me. They locked up his celly, my celly, and when they put me in the tank, and I see my celly coming past, I started trying to call my celly name. He ignored me and shit. I'm like, oh, that bitch ass nigga, he finna tell too, like, you know what I mean? Some shit. Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. I'm just laughing. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's because he didn't even acknowledge me and shit, so they ended up transferring me from there that night. They told me 2 hours later they declared the dude dead because they said that his head cracked from the inside. As it wasn't even only blood that I saw, and on the autopsy was the blood that came out his tear duct and out his ear. Like, other than that, everything was on the inside. So they transferred me to to Pontiac. That's what's considered like the hold for the whole state of Illinois, maximum security and shit. And then when they came back in there and read me my rights, I already knew what it was. But like, I didn't panic or get anxiety or nothing. I'm not saying that I'm just that cold-hearted of a person. No, it was like some spirit had came over me, and then I felt the calm like the whole time. And they was trying to provoke me and shit. Like, and the guards I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Because in Southern Illinois, most of those, like those southern states, they kind of racist as hell. Like, you know what I mean? And then I just did what I did, and at the time, the prison guard system, union was trying to force then Governor Blagojevich to hire 1,600 more people. He the one that got convicted for trying to sell Barack Obama.
I know who he is. I know who Rod Blagojevich is.
Right, so they jumped on it. Their union jumped on it, and then they started saying stupid shit like, "I'm 6'3", 320-some pounds. I power bombed them." They making all kind of inflammatory statements and shit to the news media, poisoning the potential jury. Like, that was what I was thinking. Like, you know what I mean? And then the lady from the newspaper, I think it's called the Centennial, Mount Vernon Centennial. She was just printing that shit, so I wrote her and I explained to her, like, "No, lady, you got this shit wrong." And so I started sending her like bits and pieces of my discovery, different statements, and then when she started seeing like, oh, they used me, then she started printing the right shit. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So every time they drove me down there those 4, 5, 6 hours to go to court, you know what I mean? They'll have me in front page of their newspaper and shit. Like, and that's when it started coming out that he was he had did like 10 years for molestation of 2 minors. And then he got out, stayed out not even a year, and then he had did it again. He had got 3 minors at gunpoint and put them in an abandoned building and molested them and shit like that. He was in that program that I was telling you about, but I guess he had completed it and he was just waiting on the court to decide if he had got enough therapy or whatever. But when I was in confinement, they had us on an old death row. And like I said, when I was talking to one cop, like when I first got there, it was March, just cold as hell. They got me butt naked in the cell for like 30-some days. Like, only thing I had in the room is a styrofoam tray that the food came on. Like, you know what I mean? And
why they do that? Why they put you in there butt naked, man?
I don't know. It's just mind games and shit because I had just committed a murder in their eyes, and they felt like, I don't know, but it was no reason because I wasn't resistant. I couldn't run, and it was like it was what it was. I asserted an affirmative defense in the beginning, so like I didn't worry about shit. And then like they was trying to treat me for that first 30 days, but then after a while, the superintendent, my people started calling, and then they saw that I had people that was concerned about me, so they started easing up. And then when they gave me the all my paperwork, the discovery and shit, like I was sitting in my room, I had turned my TV off, and like a calm came over me, bro. Like, and I'm looking at this wall on the old death row where John Wayne Gacy, Richard Speck, all them people have been. And like I'm actually seeing like my life flash in front of me, and at the end of it, I heard a voice just as clear as I can hear yours say, "Don't worry, you're gonna be all right." And then once I started going to court and shit, I started seeing they giving me people that's trying to railroad me and shit. I'm arguing with I argue with the judge every court date for 3 years. And I'm insulting the public defenders that they're trying to give me. I'm telling them, like, look, he incompetent. This man didn't even know my name and asking me how much time am I willing to take. You already got a lengthy sentence anyway. Man, get the fuck out of here. Like, I shit right down because I just got railroaded for this case that I'm in there on. Like, ain't no way y'all finna railroad me again. When I told my mom, she was like, damn, what the fuck? The man died and came back to life and you killed his ass again. How the hell they charge you with 2 counts of first-degree murder? Like, you know what I mean?
Let me say this, right? From what you're saying, man, from what you're saying, it sounds like, they're trying to get Blagojevich to hire all these new cops, and you were the poster boy why it was so dangerous in there, why they needed the cops. These people were going to throw your life away to create more jobs, man. This is the reality, right? And some people might be watching, yeah, but you killed someone in prison. No, look, man, dude was acting tough. You're in prison. Anything could happen. He could have stabbed you with that pencil in the eye. You could have lost your life over him just being on some bullshit. You could have lost your life. So, go ahead.
What they failed to realize was I wasn't just gonna lay down. I started complaining so much and writing so many people. They launched the investigation, and the deputy chief investigator for the whole state of Illinois, he the one came to interrogate me. So when we talking, and after they read me my rights, I remember like my uncle told me when I was like 6, 7 years old, whatever you do, don't say nothing. That shit came in my head as, you know what I mean, in that moment. And so we talk, but I'm like, no, I know what affirmative defense is. So I started telling them. And then the shit wasn't adding up to what they wanted. So he writing some shit. And then you see, like, if you get the tape, you can see I'm sitting there. They offer me water, candy, cigarettes and shit. And then I started smoking their cigarettes. And then he pushed the paper in front of me, like, saying, I said, man, let me read it first. He's like, no, this is just what you said. I said, man, I still want to read it. So I'm reading it, and I said, I pushed it away from. I said, man, this not saying exactly what I said. And then he said, no, it's just paraphrasing. And you see me look right at that camera and say, is that camera? Because in Illinois, if you charge the person to be murdered, they automatically got to videotape the interview because of the dirty cop John Burgess, all them people he tortured and shit. And then you see me look right at the camera and say, is this tape gonna be there? And he said, yeah, everything gonna be there. I said, well, okay, cool. He said, what, is there a problem with you signing the paper? I said, yeah, the paper, what you wrote and what I said is not conveying the same thing. Then I pointed at that camera. I said, but this tape gonna say exactly what I said. And soon as the jury heard that, the whole jury stopped. When they saw that part of the tape that they showing at the trial, they started laughing because they saw this motherfucker try to get me to sign my life away. Like, man, you out your fucking mind, bro. Like, you got to get up pretty early in the morning to get me. Like,
you remind me of one of them cool ass old school cats, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they wasn't gonna trick you into a life sentence, huh?
Right now, and I saw it coming. I'm laughing on the inside, like, man, he think I'm stupid. But all the time, I wanted that water and them cigarettes. So, like, you know what I mean? I'm going along with it like I'm, man, get the fuck out of here. But then he ended up subsequently, he lied 19 times. He admitted at my trial that he lied 19 times at the grand jury. He said I didn't never mention self-defense until 2-3 hours into the video, into the interrogation after he told me that dude died. But soon as I walk in there and after they asked me my name, I asserted self-defense. You know what I mean? So what the DOC did, they ended up firing the warden. They ended up demoting him, took his company car and all that shit. It shook up a lot of shit. So they started fucking with me as a result of that. Once they realized who I was when I make it from one spot to another one or some shit, then like some of them will just get the fuck out the way because they already know. Man, I'll sue your ass and I'll put so many liens on your property. Like, leave me the fuck alone. Like, you know what I mean? shit like that. But yeah, that DOC, that motherfucker ain't nothing nice. This some like I don't know if you interviewed anybody that's been to the Illinois Department of Corrections, but there's some characters. Like I mentioned, John Wayne Gacy was there. I wasn't there when he was there, but I remember seeing him like do business and shit, going to visit my uncle and shit when I was little. Like the Illinois prison system, like yeah, that's something else, man. So
I got a friend, right, that was in the feds I'm real close with. I write about him in my book, Aaron Pike. The Fed state placed him and they sent him to Illinois. Illinois accepted him. He was over there for about 10 years. Then they sent him back to the feds over to Terre Haute. But I know some people that were over there, man. And I mean, it's not a secret. I mean, this is a dangerous prison system. Chicago is one of the most dangerous cities in the country. A lot of gang infested, young kids killing each other, man. It's sad, man, but this is the reality of what's going on. So I'm familiar with what goes on over there. I don't think it's as dangerous as places like Alabama and Georgia. It's definitely dangerous, but
man, this is Stateville and Pontiac and Menard back in the days. Like I witnessed shit in Stateville. I saw what I guess dude had made a battle axe or some shit, and it still grooves in the ground where they done chop motherfuckers up. Like I saw a Freddy Krueger glove, bro, in that motherfucker before. Like I'm not exaggerating. I done made
man. The people, man, listen. The people are gonna be mad and be like, "Come on, man, Freddy Krueger glove."
Listen, man, I saw a motherfucking. Listen, man, that motherfucker had knives on 4 fingers, bro. It was a fucking Freddy Krueger. It looked like a Freddy Krueger glove to me. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, them dudes had keys to every door in that motherfucker except the front gate back in the days. Like, you know what I mean? Like, one of our top dudes, like, he used to tell me stories and shit like, yeah, I had a 38 in that motherfucker, and I didn't have no reason not to believe him. Like, you know what I mean?
I was with a dude in federal prison that was from Chicago. They called him Valhalla. He got shot in the Illinois state prison system, and he ended up getting some money. I don't think he got a whole bunch of money, but I was with him in Coleman when he ended up getting his little check. So, I know them things happen over there. They're actually shooting people in the jail. Dudes got shot in the prison system over there. He might have got shot at the Cook County Jail. Either that or in the prison system.
Yeah, they'll kill you. One of my partners, he was on death row. That nigga survived death row and got out and came back to the GP yard, and some shit had happened maybe 60, 70 yards from where the fuck we was standing at. They shot him. Like, you understand what I'm saying? The guard in the tower, they shot him way over there. The shit happened way over there. How the fuck is that? Like, you know what I mean? And they rolled his ass on the stretcher and shit. He's like, man, I'm all right, Lord. No, you ain't, bro. Like, God bless you, survived death row, and then these motherfuckers shoot you. Like, you know what I mean?
Some wild things going on over there, man.
Yeah, man. Everything you can imagine, bro.
What was one of the wildest, craziest things you ever seen?
I saw all kind of shit, man. I participated in a lot of, I ain't gonna say necessarily fucked up shit. It was just at a point where some business needed to be taken care of, and that's what it was. Like in the county jail, like with the people that's people and the people that's folk. Like each group got Latinos or white gangs that's up under them or whatever, and we just so happened to line up with the Latin Kings. And one time, they came back and told us, like, yeah, we finna send the deck up. We in tour with the GDs. So, but they tell the blacks, the Vice Lords, and the Stones, we be mostly the deepest anyway. They tell us, but we not gonna fuck with the Latin folks. The Latin folks with the GDs, so we gonna get to help y'all with the GDs. We gonna whoop all their ass at the same time. Like, you understand what I'm saying? But like, they tried to break it down to their racial shit. So, like, one of the little Latin folks, he was cool with me. We used to smoke. Then every day and shit, he did tattoos and shit. So when everybody started coming back, I told the little dude, I said, man, listen, man, go ahead and run on over there somewhere, man, because it's finna get ready to go up. But he spooked. He looking at shit. He saying stupid shit like, man, y'all gonna stab me in my back. If I turn around, we're gonna stab you in your face, motherfucker, if you stand here. Like, you understand what I'm saying? But like, when he rubbed me wrong, the brother, he rubbed me wrong when he asked me, he said, we just gonna get the GDs and the BDs, but not the Latin folk. So I was gonna like squash the whole thing and holler at the GD dude, but when I went to holler at him, he acted like he had an attitude, like he was super bad and shit. All right, okay then, fuck it. And then we just tore that motherfucker up, like, you know what I mean? And yeah, that shit was crazy, man. Yeah, that shit was crazy. One of my partners, he was a breed. He was on the tier with us, but they broke up our tier because we had took care of some business. And he had him on another tier. They started fighting in the church, in the chapel. You know, the volunteer people that be coming, churches on the street to the jails, ministering to people.
Yeah.
They started whooping their ass too, because like the Stones was fighting with.
No, hold up. Let me stop you, man. They're jumping on the people that are coming in from the church.
Yeah, everybody that was in the chapel was getting hit with chairs and shit. Like,
you're talking about civilians, not the prisoners, the people that come in and preach the word.
Yeah, the civilians.
Man, them people going to hell, man.
They got their ass. That's when the police really ran in there and broke it up. When they started whacking their ass, cracking their ass and shit too. But when the word got back upstairs, like the dude KP, he came to the window. I was working. I was in the hallway moving around. He called me to the window. He like, man, get me back over there with y'all. I said, man, I'm gonna take care of that in the morning. But when them people came back from upstairs from that chapel and they put him back on that tier, they sent that tier. They caught him and butchered him and killed him and shit. Like he took his last motherfucking breath. He had just asked me, but when I walked off, I didn't have no real intention on getting him back over there anyway with us anyway, because he was part of the opposition, like, you know what I mean? But that man lost his life, and then the guy that got down on him, he had been locked up before for a beat down murder. He beat a motherfucker to death on the street. He had two of them and went to trial, represented himself, beat them cases, and made it back out and went and killed another motherfucker, and then came back in there and ended up killing dude too. And then they sent him to another section of the jail, and he ended up killing himself. Like, you know what I mean? And you can see the pain in him, like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And this was the early part of his being. He ended up killing himself, man.
Let me ask you. I know you've seen a lot of crazy things. Do you think it affected you mentally and emotionally?
Man, I was already prepared for that shit. Like, I ain't gonna say I was necessarily jaded, but sharks born swimming, like, you know what I mean? So, like, I learned early on, the one that's willing to do the most violence, them the ones that's gonna be more respected. So, like, being first growing up, like, I had kind of like a reputation for taking people's shit and fucking people up. So that met me there, like, you know what I mean? So, like, no, that was just a part of waking up. As soon as first thing you gotta do is put your shoes on.
Sad reality when you become immune to violence and you can see this stuff and be like, man, it is what it is. Only the strong survive, right?
Yeah, man. But like I told you, our first phone call, man, I'd rather for their family to be sad than mine. You know?
I mean, this is the reality. I mean, this is how people feel. This is how people think. And, you know, hey, at the end of the day, you know, we say it's real and it's raw over here. So, you know, I mean, I understand. I'd rather, you know, their family be sad instead of mine.
Right.
Any remorse, man, when you had to body slam that dude and he died?
No, not at all. Because, like, during that 4 years that they had me in the hole, going back and forth to trial, like, I found a part of myself that I didn't know I had. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I found me doing that solitude that I had. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So, like, I just looked at it like the universe just used me as an instrument to rectify that situation, because he potentially could have went back out there and caused some more harm to some more kids. Like, you know what I mean? And don't nothing happen unless God sanctioned it anyway. So that shit was meant to happen the exact way that it happened. Like, you know what I mean?
And the people are listening, so you end up getting acquitted, right? What was it like when they came back not guilty? How'd you feel inside?
I sat there for a minute and I started getting mad because, like, I told them damn people, and what was crazy is during the process, the appeal process of the prison system disciplinary charges, it took a whole year from me and had me with an indeterminate amount of segregation. So every year, every 11 months, I have a review to see if they're gonna let me out of segregation. But when I first started the process, one of the administrators, she told me, she said, tell your lawyer that guy had a history of stabbing people. I said, well, if y'all know that, then why the fuck am I still why the fuck am I still going through?
So you get acquitted, right?
Yeah.
And when you get acquitted, man, what happens? The judge tries to come down, shake your hand. Right. What happens?
Yeah, and then I just gripped his hand so he couldn't walk away. And then I looked at him. When he looked at me, I said, this is why I was acting the way that I was acting every time I came in your courtroom, because me and him done had some epic battles. And I'll wait until the stenographer start typing before I start saying something, because I know she got to get it all on the record. Like, you understand what I'm saying? And then sometimes he'll wait and ask me, do you have anything to say, before he let her start typing. But I said, this is why I was acting. I said, they knew that shit all the whole time, that I was acting in self-defense, but they tried to throw my life away because they wanted more employees. They're not doing nothing anyway. You understand what I'm saying? And then this is what one of the officers said. He said, I realized that it was nobody in the tower, so I decided to just go kill somebody. They appointed a special prosecutor and everything, man, for that shit, man. You know what I mean? Because the state's attorney down there, one of them was running for state's attorney of the county, and the other one was retiring. And he was trying to get another conviction under his belt from me, the one that was retiring. And when the public defender took me in the back, set me under the stairs like me and him finna talk, and then out walks the state's attorney. They talking to me together, trying to intimidate me. I started laughing. I said, man, y'all must not have read my record, man. None of this shit not gonna work. And then I went right out there and I told the judge exactly what happened. Like, you know what I mean? They knew it was some bullshit the whole time. But like I said, they took that whole county off from prosecuting the case, and then they got an appellate defender prosecutor, and then brought him in, little short dude with a complex bull bitch or some shit. I remember we had a hearing in the judge's chambers, and he said, Your Honor, in these situations, these guys, they feel like they don't have anything to live for, so they feel helpless. I said, Your Honor, I've never felt helpless or hopeless a day in my life. I have people that love me. I don't know what this man talk about. He started yelling, you challenging me, inmate? I started laughing at his ass. Man, get the fuck out of here. That shit ain't gonna work. Like, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, man, and around the same time, when I called my charge, one dude, they had to kill this one inmate because he was stalking the law library and he tried to tear off, and then he was holding a hostage and everything. They ended up killing his ass. I remember that because the was like the second one that happened this fiscal year. She was telling me all that shit. Like, yeah, man, them people don't care about nothing, bro.
Let me ask you this, right? How long you been out?
September the 19th would be 3 years. First time I've ever completed or come to complete anything. Probation, parole, anything. So like, yeah.
Are you done? Never going back?
I can't say like what I'm doing. They're gonna do, but if it's within the realm of my control, no, I'm never going back. I didn't even turn around when I left out that gate. I took one deep breath, and all I said to myself, yeah, I did that whole thing and got in the van. I didn't even look back, bro. I didn't even look back, not one time. Memphis had around moving around with much body. You know how the feds. You know how the feds is, like people holding up their hand to walk past people, but like people walk like that shit gave me anxiety just like that. Like I think I still suffer a little bit PTSD from that experience. Like yeah.
Well, listen,
yeah,
man.
It was kind of up.
I wanna see you stay free. You know, you've been through some shit. You know, I'm gonna get ready to close the show, right? But if you had a message, man, for young people, man, you've been through it all, man. Gang member, grew up in Chicago. In prison, you end up catching a body in prison. You beat it at trial. and now you're out. You've been out 3 years, which, man, that says a lot. You've been out for 3 years, man. What message would you give to the young kids, man, in Chicago that are running around killing each other, brother?
Don't go on no emotion, man. Just think, man, because there is no statute of limitations on murder, and the people that you think gonna hold you down not necessarily gonna hold you down. And then people can say that I never all they want. You never know what a person will do until them people tell them we finna give you 120 years. Be careful with like who you associate yourself with, man, and like I said, just think about what you're gonna do before you do it, man, because at the point of no return, sometimes like there is no return, man, and you don't want to be in them places when people telling you all that what to do every day, all day for the rest of your life. Like, nah, man, like take a step back, man, in the heat of the moment. Think about what you're gonna do, because it's not just gonna affect you, it's gonna affect the people that depends on you too, because when my youngest daughter was 9 years old, my oldest was 14, I got out. I'm a grandfather to 9 kids now. Like, my youngest daughter turning 30 when I came home, like, and we had clashes for a minute at first, but like she rocking, I'm rolling, this vice versa, like, yeah, because all that shit gonna affect everything, like, you know what I mean? Your absence, a father's absence can determine like shit for generations, especially if you got girls. Yeah, let's see what the reception is on this. Like, I got some more stuff. Like, I got some more stuff we could talk about. You probably heard some of them. I want up that like I know, like for a fact, like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, listen,
what it is, though.
Man, we'll talk.
Appreciate it.
We'll talk more. I appreciate you coming on the show, man, and sharing your story, sharing your experiences, man. You live that life. I'm gonna tell people, man, if you like it, a couple little, technical difficulties at the end over here, but I think it's because of the weather on your end, my end. It is what it is. Look, man, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. If you like it, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. With respect, until tomorrow, we're out.